Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ESA Cup. This is week 4 of, I believe, 5 throughout the group stage. We have Group C. We have 2 matches for you today, and these ones are going to be really big. These are important matches. First up, we are going to have Legacy versus MVG. Second up, Entropy versus Tracker. And both of these matches are going to be really important in placement as we have 4 teams left in the running to make it to the next round. And I got a feeling that 2 of them are going to be better off. 2 of them are going to be pretty much eliminated. I'm Starcoin Hero. I'm joined by Pooble. And Pooble, we got our first match pretty much ready to go. What do you think we can expect from it?
Well, it's going to be club. Spoilers. I don't know if we're doing the map ban graphic. We might be able to fit that in, but we are on a bit of a tight squeeze here in the schedule wise. But we are going to Clubhouse. It's a very sort of default map. It should really be testing these teams' just sort of fundamentals. It's kind of an unknown quality for Team Legacy because they just haven't played it. But it's also a very standard map, so you should be able to make a lot of decent assumptions about how they'll play it. These are 2 very sort of upper mid-table teams in this group. MVG have an actual record on this. They are 3-2, so they're slightly positive on this map, but it's still very much could be anyone's game. It is just going to be down to who can play the sort of fundamentals the best.
Yeah, fundamentals is going to be the word of the day. When you think about just your default Rainbow Six Siege map, personally, I think 2 maps come to mind, and one of those is absolutely Clubhouse. The other one I would say is probably either Oregon or let's just go Oregon. I'm kind of blanking right now.
Definitely Oregon,
Definitely
Boregon,
Oregon.
Snoregon, whatever you want to call it.
Oregon.
It's just the standard map there, and a lot of
Standard
people are sick of
default.
seeing it.
Everybody's played it. Everyone's seen it. Everyone pretty much knows how to play it. And these maps are sometimes, I'd say even most of the times, where you get your best matches. It comes down to fundamentals versus fundamentals. Who can play the game of Rainbow Six Siege better? And I like that you brought in the record of MVGs on Clubhouse. Of course, they played it more, but everyone's played Clubhouse a little bit. I probably going to play a little bit of effect. They have a little bit more relevancy to it, so they're probably going to know what to do. They're probably going to be a little bit cleaner on it. But when you bring a maps like Clubhouse, it's so predictable. It's going to play the same pretty much every time. This one's going to be really pretty much anyone's game. Both of these teams have a very similar record. So it's basically just going to come down as to which one of these teams can finesse the other one.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be anyone's game here. The standings reflect that, the map choice reflects that. It is a total toss up. So let's see what the viewers think. We sent out a little bit of a community poll. We should hopefully have that graphic coming up right now, and we can see that 45% voted for Legacy, and MVG just edge out by that 10% margin. So people kind of high on MVG, but it's still very, very close, and it really should be because this is anyone's game.
Oh, absolutely. It is for sure anyone's game. You got to look at the stats and think that it favors MVG a little bit, but it's so light that it doesn't really make a huge difference. So, of course, you can sit here and say MVG has a big advantage, but you have to remember, we're on Clubhouse. We have teams that know their way around the block. We're pretty deep here in the group stage. We are fighting for potentially the last couple of spots in Group C, and this is what it's all about. We have one more week after this. So it all comes down to this. One of these teams can make or break the entire season.
Yeah, and we are in a very sort of fortunate spot here, although no one likes forfeits. The fact that we have got the top and bottom seed not playing, these are very important matches. These will determine head-to-heads around differentials. So I think we can just hop right into it. We've got all 10 in the lobby, so I would hope we can get into the match very, very shortly. It will be Clubhouse, a map I'm sure everyone has really seen before, but there could still be a few surprises lined up here, I think.
For sure, we might be able to see a non-traditional operator pick, maybe a crazy strat or two. It's definitely going to be a fun match to watch. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm expecting. I'm not expecting to see anything too crazy or wacky. I'm not expecting one of these teams to come out and get completely smacked out of the water. I'm expecting just your average game of Rainbow Six? And what says average game of Rainbow Six, like your first operator being banned as Jackal?
Yeah, it's very much just going to be designed to allow the roamers a little bit more freedom there. It forces the attack to invest a bit more utility into that roam clear. Can't just have that magic operator just spot any sort of defender who's been there in the recent past. Maverick is a bit more of an interesting ban. We tend to see more sort of fragging operators banned on club, like Nook, like the Jackal there, but Maverick is sort of more playing into that utility, and that's just not something we see very much nowadays. There's so many different avenues to open up walls that the Maverick ban, I just don't think is going to impact the defense that much, but the Solace ban will definitely impact them. Solace is a very strong operator. We've seen teams completely crumble on the attack because they can't deal with the Solace. So Solace getting off the board, it's a very sort of standard ban here, and it will definitely limit the sort of aggression of the defenders, I'd say.
For sure. Solus is one of those bans that past a certain level of competition, she's going to be taken off because she is such a good operator to choose, whether you're playing tier 4, tier 3, tier 2, or tier 1. I would say Solus is banned more than she's not. Fourth and final ban is Cade. I can see it. I would have chosen somebody else, maybe maybe a more of a roamer or a fragger, because there are a lot of ways that you can deny the breaches, like say a mute or a bandit. But Cade is not the worst pick. I can definitely understand. Maybe just like a default pick, say, okay, we don't know who to ban. Let's ban Cade. Good pick. You can't really go wrong with the Cade ban. Same thing with the Maverick. Like you said, it's a very non-traditional ban. It's not as common as it used to be, but if you don't really know who else to ban, just ban someone that your team's not going to play. And I don't think they had the plan to play Maverick, so let's just take them off so they can.
Yeah, it just forces the attack to do a little bit more. The same really with that Jacoban as well. It just forces them to take a bit more time. It's nothing revolutionary, nothing that's going to completely destroy any attacking strats. But those small time margins can really make the difference. And we're going to be going basement first off. We're seeing quite a heavy roam game, I would imagine. Potentially Warden off site, it looks like it. The 1.5 can be lethal at any real range. The Vigil as well is going to be the big sort of power roamer here. That is definitely going to go hand in hand with that Jackal ban. Just the uncertainty of the drones there using that gadget will likely drain a lot of MVG's time as they go on this attack, because they're really going to want to clear him out because they just won't be comfortable going for an execute with that gun still roaming around above. That being said, he is actually in the bar area getting very aggressive on that double window, and he gets that first pick for free. How have MVG even allowed that? 7 does get traded out, but still, the Yana going off the board straight away. That's nades gone, an entry operator down. It just colossally, just bad drone work, really, from MVG.
That was, I wouldn't say worst case scenario, but it's pretty close to it. Iana's definitely one of those operators that you want to keep for a little bit longer. You don't want to lose her off rip. Vigil did, of course, go down. 7 made a great play, was not able to get away. So your roamer is down, I guess you could say that, but I would 100% give the upper hand at this point to Legacy. Iana's down. That is your pretty much your main entry down. 2 grenades have fallen, and now the less grenades there are on the map, the only stronger that Wamai and Jaeger are going to get. The ADS are going to reign supreme. The Magnet's going to grab everything and steal them away from the attackers. And now the attackers have lost another one. There goes your buck. And now your soft breaching is really, really weak.
Yeah, and this really leaves the attack without any real avenue into the site. We see Labercook can go for that fight, taken down, but even if he didn't sacrifice his life there, you have no nades, you can't dislodge any of these defenders, no vertical play either as Zello gets taken down, Wonka gets another, and this MVG attack is just falling apart. 2 crucial kills from the defense lead to this being a lost round within the first minute.
Luka will fall. The MPX raining down, and it is just spray and pray. One of the bullets catches the head. Efficiency was the word for round number 1. Legacy making quick work, making seemingly easy work of MVG. And basement was absolutely the right site choice there. MVG did not know what to do. They weren't able to drone out the player in pool room. And Vigil was able to score an easy kill. 7 with an amazing play. And frankly, it was pretty much doomed from the start. That was the start of the fall of the big tower. It's like the piece was just ripped away from them. It was a Jenga tower, and that was the one block that was supporting pretty much everything. Started off the round with just a big mental block.
Yeah, now, this sort of site setup here does give MVG quite a big opportunity. We're going to CCTV cache, and this used to be probably the primary or secondary site here, but times have changed, the meta has evolved, a slight bit of almost power creep for the attack, you could say. There's so many ways of getting that CC breach open now, and that sort of used to be the crucial thing of the defense. And now that you can get that wall open so easily, it cuts that site in half. It makes taking rafters a lot easier. It can even make taking cache a lot easier. So it's going to be up to Legacy here to kind of play a little bit more aggressive. You're going to have to sacrifice that wall. It will be open no matter what. So you're going to need to invest sort of utility into that top red position, into the rafters position. Even down here in blue, Kane tries to get a little bit aggressive. The head just darts by. But we do need to be seeing Avengers just continually getting a little bit out of their comfort zone here, because if they just stick in sight, like they sort of folded back and did in that previous round, they will get torn apart here.
To have some vertical play attempt, and what a grenade by Shinji, make it a double kill now, as the FMG-9 catches one and gets a victim. But we have more vertical play from the other room, from construction. The SMG evening things up, but we have a Monty play here. The Monty main in me, very happy to see Shinji just holding down in that corner. You're not going to be able to remove that Monty. That's simply what it is. And now the Unshield has the ADS and gets the frag. It'll be a 3 versus 1 as the P9 pops one down. It's all up to tie.
Yeah, MVG just tearing apart that defense with the Monty. Zello's still going. He's getting incredibly aggressive because it's all up to tie on this mute. Stuck alone, gets the knife incredibly, so it gets the shotgun as well. What a colossal bounce back from Legacy there, but I thought for sure MVG had won that. They had no real response to the Monty, but Ty Flosion just goes insane. Knifes him past the shield, gets that shotgun pick, and really just drags Legacy through a round they should not have won.
Legacy stealing it from the grips of MVG. They had that one won and then some. It was a 3v1 with Monty still alive. The Monty just had to walk forward and walk towards him, and it would have been a lot harder, but the knife comes in, bob and weave, and knifes Monty in the shoulder. Legacy takes 2.
Yeah,
and we're going to go up to bedroom. We're going to see what they can do there. MVG, after dropping that round when it seemed like they had it in the bag, that does not very good things to your mental. What? That does bad things to your mental.
Yeah, and this is a very crucial round here. You don't, if you're the side of MVG, you can't really afford to lose this, because then you give Legacy that 3-round rotation. They can loop back to the basement, which they were so just efficient at defending. You don't want to deal with that situation. You need to build a bit of momentum here now, and it's honestly looking a little bit bad for you, because this is actually what would typically be considered the stronger site. Gym and Bedroom has that higher defensive rate compared to CC and Cash, so really it is kind of up to MVG to sort of seize the initiative, take the moment, get a nice effective clear, likely go through CCTV, I would hope, and just win this round. Just lock it off nicely. You don't even want it to get necessarily close, because that's still not going to do wonders for your mental, but if you can get a win, preferably get a quite dominant win here, you can still very much be left in this game, but coming off the back of that previous round, I would imagine that Legacy are going to be over the moon, really.
Kane goes down first, but ooh, caught off guard and completely cut off. You're not going to get into kitchen without a fight. Yannick loses quite a bit of HP, does eventually manage to find a stand point where they can try to watch out. You definitely wanted to get in there a little bit easier. Ooh, 417 raining down, Zello falling, and there goes Ayana again. Main wall will be open, so that's going to be the thorn in the defense's side. But is it going to be as big of a problem as they expect? Whoa, Yannick sneaking his way through, catching 7 down, and Jaeger is completely shut off. One player in the corner. I don't think MVG knows drone hole, getting some shots in. Leb down to a little bit of HP. Leb gonna run down, takes the shots, and Wonk with an amazing angle catches one, but Hookah's there to make the refrag go through and keep their team with the advantage. 80 seconds to go. MVG has the one-man advantage, but they have not gotten close to site yet. We have a couple of roamers outside and downstairs. One player trying to drop in through Logi, but if Ty and Vibare can keep this a little bit harder to get, this might be a round sealed for this defensive Legacy side. It's a 1 versus 2, but we've seen them win a 1v3 before, and the Roni can absolutely make this a lot easier. There's not a lot of bullets, only 12, but it's so good. It's so easy to control. It's just a headshot or two, but the headshot can't be found this time. And MVG's not going silently down. They will take their first round.
Yeah, it was a massively played man advantage there. They didn't really offer up any 1 versus 1s. They played that man advantage well, got him in that sort of pincer angle. Perfectly played from MVG there, but it was still a bit of a sloppy round. You got to sort of give props to Legacy and MVG even. They've been very good at their trades throughout this match so far. There's never really been a situation where there's been that big of an advantage, aside from maybe the start of that first round. They're always very snappy at just getting 1 pick back. So good job from both teams there, but MVG do just sort of manage on top there. When you play the trade game, once you get that initial advantage, you are going to win. But just at the end of the day, simple mathematics, really. So MVG, they do get that first round on the board. They get that bit of momentum. And going back onto basement now, this is crucial. They can't fall for the same mistakes. They have to actually force 7 really out of position, drone him out. It's going to be Vigil, so it's going to be a little bit difficult, but you have to deal with that threat. Potentially even Kane as well was up there initially, so you need to actually deal with these rumors, get intel on them early, and don't throw away an opening pick again. Please, MVG. You can't be losing Shinji again like that. It was so detrimental, and it put them off to such a bad start. So a little bit more almost sort of restraint, I'd guess, at the start of that round. Just really solidifying your intel work is what is needed for MVG to even have a chance at winning this map, or this round even.
First time they went to basement, I saw there was a Monty, but it was repicked. This time the Monty's going to come through. So I'm excited to see what that can happen. We saw what happened in round 2. The Monty nearly winning them that round, but a crazy 1v3 clutch. It's what stopped that from coming to reality. Vigil playing a little bit higher than last time, playing all the way on the top floor rather than the middle floor in bar. As Shinji gets dropped again early on, first one to fall. And it is eerily similar to the last time, except this time it's Kane that gets the frag. And Legacy has a 5 versus 4 easily and early.
I'm not even sure where Shinji was dropped there. I don't know if it was perhaps blue or just a blind spray through tunnel, because Kane was on site. In fact, it looks to be just a direct tunnel hit there, but Yannick gets taken down as well. MVG are trying to almost run before they can walk as Hookah taken down again. Kane just tearing them up on site. This MVG attack is questionable at best. They're using Zello to push up that tunnel, but he's doing nothing. He's applying no pressure, really. In fact, he's just allowing his teammates to get killed behind him. He has to take that shield down to pick up Hookah, which leaves 2 in the dirt and still labor cooking above. You have to have one hell of a backstab to be effective here, but no. Cut down in kitchen. 4 versus 2 as Hookah at least picks up 1, but you still have to deal with Kane on that angle. Barra as well on that dummies box. Hookah coming back down the tunnel. Barra, in fact, disconnected, so that does give MVG a bit of a chance here. But Hookah's on such low HP. Luckily, no explosives on the side of Legacy. They've all been used up already, so if you can maybe just isolate a few gunfights, never mind. Kane takes down Hookah, and it's all up to the Monty in this 1 versus 3, and I highly doubt we'll get a clutch from Zello here. Whips out the pistol, tries to get 1, missed shots from both sides, but Kane, he's still got this angle locked down. There's nothing Zello can really do here as he does down Kane, but he's a shield up against 2 players on site. If he could maybe just push out, get rid of Typhlosion initially, but no. Now Wonka's back as well, but damage is still being dealt. Zello still in this 1 versus 2, still a chance, but finally they use that man advantage properly. Both gang up on him. And that is another round for Legacy and a very odd attack from MVG.
3 rounds now, and it started off the very same way. Shinji goes down to the roam, and it was doomed from the start. They've got this basement site completely figured out in MVG. They don't know what to do. I would like to see the Monty push up a little bit better, a little bit further, I should say. As like you said, Monty was standing right there, providing intel, but not applying any pressure. That is the key to applying pressure with Monty and being a really good player. Try to squeeze yourself into that site. Maybe get yourself into a corner. Provide a little bit more of a deeper angles. That way they can make smarter peaks instead of just trying to swing around the Monty and just pretty much forfeiting 1 life, 2 life, 3 life, and then eventually the entire round. 1 versus 3, very good attempt from Zello. Almost, for a second, I thought he was going to get it after he got a lot of damage done to that second player, but did not come to fruition. And now we go back to CCTV and Cash. They were able to make this round work last time, but it was not as easy as they would have liked. If you remember, it was down to a 3 versus 1 in favor of MVG, and it was a heroic clutch from Ty that won this round out. So it was not a walk in the park like Garage or like Basement was. MVG, they know what they need to do to get the early advantage. Now, if they can just keep that advantage going and secure out that round, we could be in a very even spot going into the last round of this half. But it's just going to come down to controlling the pace and not overstepping like they did in the second round. Last round, they were pretty close. It did come down to a 3 versus 2. But it absolutely could have been worse. Like in the first round, that was a completely one-sided. It's getting better and better with time as wall is open. And like you said, it really just a matter of time before that wall gets open. There's no way to defend it in this current meta. I don't even know if they tried, they didn't even try any anti-breach. They didn't bring a mute, a bandit, or anything.
They had a mirror window on it with a nitro cell behind it. I don't know if it was some kind of glitch. But it didn't do anything. The nitro was just wasted, and the ace breaches the wall open for free. Not going to make too much difference because that wall does get open so quickly. But Shinji, again, is opening death. This is not what you want from your entry. Yannick as well. It's like a repeat of last time. Hookah does get that trade onto Wonka, but still, Legacy, they just look unstoppable in this early round. MVG continually fumbling, and it's really the most crucial players, Ash, Yana, just being slaughtered off the board. So despite getting that breach open, they're still having to fight uphill here. Hookah, he's just baiting for angles, really. It's not a great situation for MVG at all. They've got no real ground in Garage. That they're likely going to send Zello up there again with support from Leeuwcooken, but just with the sheer man advantage, it surely won't result in success. They can just play just disciplined, really. Barrett, though, does get taken down, and Zello, we need to stop doubting him. 7, shut down again. And MVG actually make this into a man advantage situation. Zello as well. He's actually applying pressure this time.
There's a bit of worry because that Nitro Cell is going to be the end of Monty. But with this sliver of HP, Monty's still alive. And it's a 2 versus 2. But it is any bit of HP and Monty's done. Crouching down, nearly dying. Oh my goodness. The Warden puts his back to the Monty. And now the plant's going to go down. Ty with the UMP-45's got to make something happen. Peeks around, gets the frag. Monty puts the shield back up, tries to find a shot, runs away, and Ty goes down. It's the Monty clutch to win round 5. And Booble, you've got to stop doubting because Monty is still there. So sneaky. You don't expect the Monty to pull out the P9. That's why it's so dangerous. You never expect it, and it works almost every time. And MVG's got another round. They pull it from the depths and somehow come away with it. You have got to be kidding.
There's just no way. Do Legacy not know how to play around a Monty? They run at him through an open breach that's being watched. Everyone holds that breach from Repel. It is the most default stuff. But you still run at the Monty. You know you've got him down low from a variety of gunfights and explosions. You can just wait for the plant. Then actually use your whole team. Don't just run at him and give the enemy a free pick. Just a colossal misplay of that situation because the health advantage was still by far in favor of Legacy there. But they get so aggressive trying to deal with that Monty for no real reason. They had the down onto the ace. They had the player isolated on platform. The Monty doesn't matter. You don't need to deal with him in that current moment in time. Just ignore him. Sure, he can try and extend that shield, but he won't ever actually really do anything from that position. He just can't really afford to. But if you give him sort of that much ground to play with, really, you give him all that cover to use from the other member of the team, he's just going to be deadly, and Zello proves it there. Interestingly, though, we aren't seeing that Monty this round. Zello opting for the Yana instead, potentially aware of a flank, but I mean, it's worked so far. It's produced very good results on this site. So this is a bit of a puzzling change. I'm going to be honest. Legacy still look good in this early round. They could try and get another pick. Eyes really on Shinji here. But this might be them sort of fixing something that isn't broken, really.
I think Zello might have saw the Oryx and decided to switch off because originally Zello had Monty hovered, but then I think they saw Oryx and was like, okay, they're targeting. Let's switch back. Because we also saw that Zello, with Nomad, was able to get some pretty good utility. That was, I think we only saw it in round 1. And an air jab did, in fact, go off. Almost got one killed. So I think Zello definitely knows their way around the Nomad operator. Also, we're going back to CCT and Cash one more time. Did not work last round, but it worked the first time. Looking to extend and try it one more time. They got really close with it. Oh, it's again. 7 gets another one. The first engagement goes the way of Legacy easily. And now, with 90 seconds left, MVG has to play this from one around. One down.
What?
Ring around the Rosie and 7 catches them. This could be a double kill. 7 just has to stay on it. 7 is running up. There's 1 for 7. There's 2 for 7. And it is a triple kill on the round. And 7 reads it perfectly, playing ring around the Rosie. And MVG's down to Ace and Thatcher, a great duo to have left. And Walk leaves the game. Wait a second. That might be huge. I think it's a disconnect. Pooble.
Yeah, it definitely is. And Barra's alone in sight. 7's still off sight. They could seize the moment here. Take it. Take that 2v1. Push MVG. You've got to make the most of this situation, because once 7 gets back in, as he now is, it's a lot more difficult. You're going through these breaches, through these windows. Leverkusen does manage to get a plant down. He swings. Bit of an odd decision, but he gets the pick. Swings again, though, and Barra actually locks that down. Hookah, Barra in this 1v1. Misplays from both teams here. Barra's playing very aggressive. Gets the head. Fantastic clutch there in the 1v1, but what a bizarre round.
Literally, 7 just doesn't even have to sneak around, just has to stand there and wait, and catches the easiest double of their life, and that will bring us into halftime. Legacy now on the attack, and I am excited to see what they can bring here now that the sides have switched. I've seen Legacy be a very aggressive team on defense, but how is that going to hold up on offense? Are they going to keep that much aggression? And the more important question, is it going to be as effective as it was on defense? Only time will tell. First site's going to be Basement Church. We saw how well it worked for Legacy. Can MVG replicate that success?
Yeah, and the thing with MVG, they have been aggressive, but it kind of has all been sort of centered around Zello on that Monty. So you would maybe even forgive them for maybe just putting him on Clash, seeing how it goes, but they are just going very default here. They got Zello on that mute, so it is really going to be a sort of testament to their gun skill this round, seeing if they can actually still control parts of the map without a great big bulletproof drone sort of guiding them through. On the side of Legacy, though, very similar lineup here. It's going to be really a case of whether or not your vertical player or your entry, so Kane or Barra, actually survive that first minute. Because for MVG, you consistently saw Shinji and Yannick being dropped first. Very sort of unfortunate match for both of them, especially seeing as they are such crucial parts of the team. So Kane, Barra really need to stay alive here, because there's nothing the attack can really do without them. We're still only seeing one set of nades from Kane, which is a bit of an interesting take, because Basement is all about dislodging defenders sort of indirectly. There's a lot of hard ceiling, so you need to have a lot of utility. And without a Ying and just nades, it's going to be a very uphill battle as Shinji gets in a bit of engagement by the front door. Barra taken down, so that's your vertical player gone. Luckily, a trade onto the Warden, but still, how do you approach Basement now? You can't really tear up that floor anymore. Legacy might have already lost the round, and we're not even a minute in.
It is a trade, but not all trades are equal. Shinji is gone. Vibara is gone. It's a Warden for a buck. Soft Breach going to be a little bit weaker, but also the Flashes now, they can just completely reign free. And Habanas, they still have 3 Flashes. Another frag comes in. Dokkaebi is now down. That's going to do a wonder for the intel of, or an unwonder of Legacy. Good sign if you're MVG, because now you have a little bit more freedom. You're not worried about the Logic Bomb coming in. You're not worried about Dokkaebi just completely ruining all of your plans and all of your stealthy 7 moments. No. No, Zello, you cannot get a melee and then a Nitro Cell kill back-to-back, leaving it all on Ty. Somehow sees Hookah, catches the kill, turns it into a 1 versus 2. Little bit of HP still left. I don't know if they have the... I think they have Diffuser, yes. So they can try to run towards the site, but is Yannick and Zello going to let him? That is the big question. It's Roni and SMG. I think Zello has the shotgun in the primary op. No! Diffuser is down in sight. That's going to make things so much harder for Ty now. With just 60 seconds to go, trying to sneak around through the hallway and down the stairs. I don't see this one happening, Pooble. It'd be an amazing clutch, and we've seen what this Legacy team can do with their clutches, specifically Ty. But you got to be crazy to think this one's happening.
Yeah, Goyo canister goes off. That's immediately 20 seconds burn off the clock. You're going into hostile territory. Yannick has likely gone back to side after the intel of that diffuser being there is relayed. It's a 1 versus 2. They're going to be playing quite close together, I'd imagine. There's just nothing Ty can really do here. Maybe get 1, but you can't really isolate any single duels either. Yannick, though, got a little bit aggressive on that position, quite an off angle, does end up picking up that kill. And another strange round. It just seems like these attacking teams are really struggling at just getting into the map as a full 5, really. A lot of just incredibly early opening picks, and it's onto the most crucial operators as well.
That's been the story of the entire match so far, and I'm not 100% sure why. It's just kind of happening. The Roams have been shutting down the attackers' plans since the beginning, and we might be seeing a very similar way of play in the second half. We thought that the aggression might be useful on the attack because they showed a lot of aggression on defense, Legacy did. But the first round, they tried to get aggressive, and MVG was having none of it, made quick work of everyone except for Ty. Left him in a 1v3, and the 1v3, of course, did not come through. But now we go back to Gym Bedroom, a site we've only seen once. And I think this was one of the rounds that the defense won, not even letting the attackers get close to the site.
I think this is actually one of the first MVG win on the attack. That I remember there was a lot of trades, and it was that 1 versus 2, so it doesn't actually have the greatest record for the defense here. We're seeing Jacuzzi Wall soft, I think. Potentially 1 panel soft. We see that quite a bit, playing the mirror in the shower just to be a little bit more aggressive. Don't give the attack the freedom of getting onto that Jacuzzi platform. A big thing here, though, Leberkuchen on that Fenrir. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we've seen that at all this match. The newest operator in the game. All of those discs being put down, and they can be quite a nuisance here, especially... Oh, no. Well, at least he activated 3 of them, I think. Shinji, though, still not having the greatest match, as he's just killed his own teammates. So, immediately, MVG once again on the back foot here. This could be the opening that Legacy need to put a bit of momentum in their attacks.
You know, I expected this game to be a traditional game of Siege. We're on Clubhouse. We're not going to see anything crazy. We have seen a complete 180 from what was expected. We've seen TKs, we've seen clutches, we've seen Monty clutches. It just doesn't get better than this. Knife kills, Nitro Cell kills back to back also. It is so insane, and now we don't get to see the Fenrir coming out. I was excited to see him. I haven't seen too much Fenrir, but I guess we're going to have to wait at least 1 more round to see it. 5 versus 4, Legacy trying to push through. They have a little bit of an easier battle now that Leberkuchen, how'd you pronounce that?
Leberkuchen.
Leberkuchen.
It's a German food, I think.
It beats me. The American pronunciation's hard. My American mouth cannot put out these sounds. But Leverkusen was taken off early. That's only going to make it easier. And if Ty can bring Castle down, that will keep it easy. Fortunately, Castle's one of those agents or operators you just put down your stuff and then you run away, try to get some kills. UMP 45, not the best gun. But the Mira's definitely one you want to keep. The Vector completely ruins the day of any attacking team. And now you're down to a 4 versus 2, and there's the Fenrir gadget going off, making the screen of Kane purple for a few seconds. But no one's able to take advantage of it. Time running thin, but Legacy is in complete control. Diffuser's getting really, really close. Yannick and Shinji have to keep this away for as long as possible. Jumps in. Yannick goes down. The shotgun doesn't get it all done. And Kane with the ARX will land the headshot on the Jaeger and Bathroom. And that will do it for this round. And I believe we are all, or actually, I believe that Legacy's only one round away from match point.
Yeah, it's nice to pick up that round there. You after such a sort of bad start to your attacking half, Legacy really need that 5-3 up. It's a good score, but still, it's quite close, and you didn't really win that round as much as MVG sort of giving it away in that early part. Unfortunate team kill from Shinji there, and they're going back to the site. Luckily, it is still probably the second strongest site on the map. They can just rerun that setup. The Fenrir looked like it would hopefully achieve good results, but as you were pointing out, you just don't have the manpower to really actually focus on it when you've only got 2 members left alive. You don't want that early pick of the team kill, so just being a little bit more careful in the early round. MVG could still see a lot of success here. This is certainly a very oppressive setup, oppressive lineup they've brought. A lot of intel with that bulletproof camera, with the mirror windows. Fenrir as well can really just shut down pushes, so it's going to be interesting to see how this setup works with a full 5-man team. We're going to see a bit of a change here from the side of Legacy. They're bringing the Twitch likely to just deal with those mirror windows. We saw Barra being a little bit sort of stalled outside, just not wanting to really engage too much with that window. We're seeing Barra actually move onto that Hibana instead of the Osa. So no shields for the side of Legacy, but still a lot of ways of clearing utility. 2 sets of nades, plus that Twitch drone. It's going to be quite easy to deal with this setup, I'd imagine.
I'm excited to see what Fenrir can do now that we have a 5v5 and Fenrir was not taken off as soon as the round got started. Habana rappelling up. They want to breach that wall, but they're trying to figure out the best way to do it. Making sure that they're clear to do it. That wall will be opened up. 5 versus 5. It's a very similar lineup to last round. Kane and Ty goes down. Hookah and Shinji. Finally, Shinji's getting involved. And it's been a very slow game for Shinji, but now they're starting to make it work. And it's a 2-man advantage now for MVG. As your Iana's gone, your Sledge is gone. I would say that means your vertical play is gone, but we're on Jim Bedger. There's not really much vertical play to be held. 7 takes down Zello, so Mira's down. That just takes away a gun. Overall, it's a good trade-off for MVG as they still have the advantage. Sure, it's not quite perfect per se, but it's a lot better than a 5 versus 5, but now it's just a 3 versus 3 as Wonk jumps in, catches an easy kill, and now MVG takes the advantage back. MP7 takes down Vibara.
Yeah, a bit of initiative being shown from Wonka there to just push in, see that the site isn't well manned. He melees out that mirror window as well, and he's still applying a bit of pressure there, but elsewhere, numbers are dwindling. Your only other teammate is 7, and he's on the roof currently, so Wonka's actually in a 1 versus 3 on site here. Shots whiffed. He's got so many angles to watch. He does actually take down Shinji, and damage dealt towards Leverkusen as well. Hookah's actually down, but he turns away at just the wrong time. And MVG pick up another round as it just seems like no team really knows how to properly attack Clubhouse.
Legacy's been having these shows of these glimmers of hope on attack, but I gotta think that you're right. Neither one of these teams is really making a statement on attack. They're getting one round here and there, but they're not winning back to back. It was 4-2 when it was switched, when MVG was on attack. Legacy making quick work on pretty much all the rounds that they won. And now it's MVG doing pretty much the same. Honestly, I would be willing to say that the only reason that they did not win the first round, or the last round, I mean, on Gym Bedroom was because of that team kill. If it was a 5v5 and they had the strong chance, the strong even chance from the start, it would have been a lot closer. I would have said that they probably would have even won that. But sometimes you click when you're not supposed to, and your player gets killed by your own teammates. Unfortunate, but there's not much you can do. We go back to Basement now, and Basement has been a site that has been really, really good for the defense throughout the entire game. I don't think the attackers have won a single round on Basement, whether it was Legacy or MVG. So that just adds a little bit of pressure and a little bit more of, I would say, shakiness for the attack of Legacy here. And Legacy's been a solid team. They haven't been terrible on attack, but MVG on defense has been right up there with them. And the defense has been the deciding factor of these teams. It's been very close. We expected it to be close. We expected it to go to these last couple of rounds. We expected it to go to double-digit rounds. But we might even see an overtime here. If this attacking team gets one more side, Legacy gets one more round, I think overtime is pretty much guaranteed.
It's a good start for Legacy this time because your entry isn't dead. And it's just uncanny, really, that your entries are dying first as Kane is actually taken down. So really aggressive play from the Ash there, and he just pays for it immediately. There's no real setup for him. And once again, these attacking teams are just sending their entries to die. Luckily, you've still got Barrett up. You've still got some amount of vertical play operational, which is a luxury the attack simply haven't had in most rounds. Again, it's just sort of been uncanny that these two roles have been taken out consistently for both teams now so early on. But Yannick, he's still been left above. There's no real roam clear from what I've seen at all. So he's got free reign to do what he wants. He's got that nitro if need be. A very good gun as well. He might just try and flank down blue, maybe get back to site because the advantage is already gained, but there is going to be someone there to meet him if he chooses the blue route. Steven does take down Zella. I'm not quite sure where that was. It was the main stairs from looks of it, but Yannick responds and he's still causing a nuisance up here. There's less than 90 seconds remaining and still no attention being paid. Legacy, they're just skipping steps. They're trying to go to an execute when there's still the threat of a flank. Seven marches down main stairs and marches all the way back up because no one's cleared no, not Grim. Fenrir. That Fenrir gadget. He's finally seen that it's been deactivated, strangely enough. Activated once again. So he throws that nade, but the blinding effect gives Shinji a free kill onto the main player. And then he immediately walks into the loving arms of Typhlosion. It's just a lot of trades here and a lot of, to be honest, sloppy play, really.
We've had so many kills that should not have gone that way. Like, I mean, when that Fenrir gadget got pretty much secured that kill, they should not have done that grenade there. Should not have thrown it. They should have waited. But they didn't. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. And now it's a 1-versus-1 V-Bar with a purple screen. Only going to make it harder. Half HP versus full HP. 15 seconds. They've got to find this last frag. Goyo just hiding out, and that will be the round. MVG winning the 1v1, and it's the Vector by Goyo that takes it away. Body shots galore, and we're all evened up.
Why can't teams attack Clubhouse? We were literally harping on about how it's a default map. Everyone knows how to do it. It's been labbed out so much. There's been so much counterplay developed. Everyone knows it. And we are stuck here with two teams that simply cannot attack Clubhouse. They're sitting in their entries with no support. They're losing their soft breaches early. It's just bad play, really. I just don't know what it is. They just can't seem to get any kind of ground in the building at all. So we're going back to CC Cash. This has been quite a good sight for the attack, but mainly due to the heroics of Zello on that Monty multiple times. And it looks like no one from Legacy, but as I say that, Wonka, he's actually taken up the reins. He's going to be playing that Monty. He's likely going to be focusing purely on Garage, purely on Rafters. The breach as well in CC is going to be getting open fairly early. There might be an attempted bandit trick from Zello, but there's so many ways to counter that. Nades from below, Thatcher, EMPs, but we're actually not seeing any nades here at all, and that could be a key flaw in this attacking strategy because there's nothing for them to clear out sort of deep sight. We saw Shinji using them to excellent effect in their attacking round. The entire attacking half, they were playing vertical with that Nook, getting rid of players in cash, but Legacy don't really have that at all. So this is an interesting lineup here. Again, just missing a few key things, and that's kind of the story of this whole map, really. Teams just not properly doing their clears right. They're just skipping steps almost.
It's a double hard breaching round for the attackers. Triple if you count the Monty with the hard breach charge secondary gadget. Hibana and Thermite. No ace, which is a little bit surprising. This is going to make Banjo tricking a lot harder. Zello's going to try it. I think Zello might have got one. But if they go off at the same time, that's just going to be the wall opened up. As they can't get it through. Vibara gets tricked again. And Monty's like, screw this. I'm out of here. I'm going over on the roof. I'm trying to rush in from Logi. Maybe Jacuzzi Wall. Looks like that's where he's running from. Either way, very good. Very
taken down.
It's again could have been worse. It could have been the entry, but I mean Nomad right here. I'd be willing to call Nomad the entry there. Very good gun. Had the flashes. It just gets worse and worse. And the attackers, once again, they're not able to get close to the site before they drop a player. If one of these attacking teams can keep 5 players where they get onto site, then that could be for sure the entire match. Monty now taken down. Possibility for a flawless round. The trade-off does come in. Tyflow makes the Type 89 get one, but it is the MP5 SD to win it off. And we have a match point 6-5, and it is a defensive round next.
And it was the lack of nades there that was just completely crumbled that round. Zello, sure, there was a lot of hard breach there, but he was free to trick it. There was nothing stopping him, no danger at all. So of course he's going to attempt it, and it works flawlessly. It completely changes the way that Legacy want to attack it. They then go for a late sort of bedroom rotate, and they're all just cut down in construction. Once again, teams just don't seem to know how to attack this, and to rub salt in the wound, MVG going down to bar and stage. If they win this, that is humiliation for Legacy, but they may well do it because these teams just haven't found any ways to get into the actual building. We might not see any site play here at all if this level of aggression is kept up by MVG. You really have to be looking at Wonka now, who's on that Yana roll, who's got those nades. Ty as well. Ty's had a good match with his team, just sort of letting him down, really. But you need these key operators alive. The nades especially are just such a incredibly powerful piece of utility because it allows you to indirectly kill the defending players. It doesn't mean you don't have to take a gunfight anymore. You can just throw a nade, but these teams seemingly not really knowing the value of that. They're sparsely using them, instead going for gunfights, which the defense always seems to win. So on this very sort of the weakest side of the map now, you would think that, you know, it brings us to this overtime point, but MVG have just looked so good in their defense, only dropping one round due to a team kill, that you can't really have faith in Legacy here.
Really can't. We said that the fundamentals were going to be key here, but the offensive fundamentals have been non-existent. Use your utility first, drone it out, take smart gunfights. Right now, both of these teams on offense are 0 for 3, and the attack has been so lackluster for both of these teams. But I think MVG has just been a little bit better. They have been less forgiving on defense. That's one thing about Legacy. They had a forgiveness factor when they were on defense. MVG has had nothing. They made one mistake. They got that team kill. And ever since then, they have been absolutely perfect. The Kukin in bathroom knows that there's one repelled up on the roof, or not up the roof, but near the roof. As attackers able to get killed, Kane and Wonker takes the frags down. The Yokai drones are now useless. They are simply relegated to default cameras up on the roof. 90 seconds to go. 2-man advantage here for Legacy, and this might be a round that they're able to win. But Wonk, if he doesn't drone it out and just jump in, that's going to be instant death. There's one watching that in the corner. You have to be careful of the corner player. You got to be careful of the corner camper. Wonker somehow wins the fight. And now it's a 5 versus 2. Shinji's gets one. Yannick finds another with the MP5K. And it's down to a 1-man. The defense somehow winning these gunfights. They should not be winning. That is 3 kills unanswered. And now we're back to an even slate. Triple for Yannick. And it's a 1v2 for Vibara. And they've got to get downstairs. They're still upstairs. I don't know if the defense knows about it. But man, it has all crumbled from within their hands. They had it by the throat, and it slipped away from them. The time's running thin. Vibara takes a little bit of damage, and Vibara doesn't know what to do. They're running out of time. They don't have diffuser. They have to find it. They have to run. They have to do everything. They have to do a million things at once. They're debating dropping down, but there's no time, Pooble. There's no time to do anything. You have to go now. They have to go now. They don't know what to do. They're panicking. This game is over. This game is 100% over. They're panicking. They're just running around. And Yannick and Shinji are playing cool as a cucumber. Wait a second. Amazing shot, but Yannick is too quick on it. That'll be the game. MVG take this 7-5, and they will stay with their record, increasing it to a 3-1-1, and that will do it for game 1. Pooble, talk about untraditional.
Just complete, almost lack of experience shown on both attacking sides there. Fair play to MVG. They had a much better defensive half. They were much better at securing those opening picks. I mean, that was the only round, I think, where the attack actually got those opening picks, and still MVG were able to recover, but they just held total dominance throughout that map, really, when it got to their defensive sides. And it looked incredibly weak coming into that on their attacks. They didn't really seem to know how to solve any puzzles, really, other than just throwing the Monty at it and hoping that it worked. So that sort of left me certainly very sort of suspicious of whether or not they'd actually have success going on to their defense. And they certainly did. They just sort of wiped the floor with Legacy there, really. And on the side of Legacy, you've got to be not feeling the best after that match. It looked to be going your way, but then you just continue to stumble there, ending with that 5 versus 2, I believe. You just not using your man advantage properly there. It was just total. It just screams really of sort of lack of cohesion, lack of experience there.
Yeah, it really did. It was a very bad case of losing the initial gunfight itis, which is a really, really big problem. You cannot lose the first gunfight every time and expect to win. You have to win it eventually, but they just didn't. Until that last round, it seemed like the attackers had the lower hand every single time. And even when they did get the upper hand, they weren't able to pull through. It was almost like they were like, hey, we got the first kill. Let's stop everything else. We've got it. But they did not. They dropped a 2 versus 5. The fumble of the century, and MVG will gladly take it. They will continue on 7-5, a very close game, but the attacking presence and just the attackers were very lackluster. The attack sites, the attack play, the attack, what's the word for it? Just the efficiency or usefulness was just very off. Sorry, I just smacked my microphone.
The roam clears especially were essentially non-existent. They just allowed defenders to remain on that top floor. And of course they're going to lose the round because of that. They're going to have to split attention when it comes to the execute. You have to have someone watching the flank, which just does it takes up manpower. It's not going to work. And they didn't seem to learn from it as well. That was another key thing in that match, really. Teams just didn't really learn from their mistakes. The attack just making those same errors, sending in their entries with no intel, no support, nothing to really get a trade-off immediately. And it always seemed to be the vertical player and the entry player dying incredibly early before they can do anything. And that is just going to lose that round for you immediately.
Yeah, it was a unfortunate showing from both sides of the attackers. MVG was able to grind out a win. So that's going to keep them in the upper half of the standings, but that will do it for the first game of the day. We still have one more, so don't go anywhere. It'll be Entropy versus Tracker Clan in a best of one when we return. You're not going to want to miss it. This first match was a banger. This next one's going to be a banger. So don't turn off your computer. Don't turn off your phone, whatever you're watching it on. Keep it on. Stay tuned because we have one more match in just a few moments. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the ESA Cup. Still Star Coin Hero and Pooble live with the second matchup of the day. Pooble, we saw a very close 7-5 match last time, but this time we have another match. Entropy versus Tracker Clan. And Pooble, guess where we're going?
It's club, isn't it?
It is club. It is club. We are going to club one more time. You can't get enough of it. We saw a very untraditional clubhouse match last time, so
Yep.
I would not be upset with another one like that. I would like to see a more productivity on the attack rather than just kind of everything falling apart. But overall, it was a very entertaining match to watch, and I'm hoping for another entertaining one in this second match of the day. And another one thing that I'm interested to see is, will the bans be the same?
I wouldn't imagine so. I think, especially with this being Entropy, we should hopefully see something more default here. And this really, Clubhouse is sort of their playground. 14-3 record plus 11 double digits, which is something I don't think we can really say about any other team in this league. Entropy, obviously, the two-time champions. They should be winning this fairly confidently, I would imagine. Tracker Clan, fair play to them. They finished last season the top half, but they still went out quite early in the playoffs. So I would certainly assume that Entropy should have this in the bag fairly easily.
Yeah, I've seen Entropy. I've seen a lot of people say that when it comes to default Rainbow Six Siege, they're better than everyone else in the ESA Cup. Entropy has a knack for playing the game that everyone else has played. It's like hammering in one thing and doing it good. If you're good at something, do it better than everyone else. That is the story of Entropy. And it's going to be fun to see how they do it in this game. One thing I can see this other team, Tracker, doing, I can see them trying to throw a wrench into their plans, because when it comes down to the main game of Rainbow Six, Entropy is probably going to outplay them. So if I'm Tracker, I'm thinking, let's play as unique and as out of whack as we can. Try to catch him off guard and maybe sneak away with the win. Pooble, it's a best of one. Anything can happen. And if Tracker just plays hyper aggressive or maybe hyper passive, or just play something that is not seen very often, they might be able to sneak away with this. But I gotta agree with you. I personally think Entropy is going to take this game, but anything can happen in a best of one. We only got 12 rounds to choose from.
Yeah, and if there is one silver lining for Tracker, it is that Entropy are kind of known for their slow starts in seasons. Once it gets into playoffs, unstoppable, barely dropping any maps, dropping few rounds in those maps they do win as well. But when it is in those best of ones group matches, they have actually been known to stumble a bit. So Tracker could make advantage of that, could just play something wildly different. Don't give Entropy enough time to actually sort of, fit that play style, because there are only a maximum of 15 rounds. So just play different, play unique. That's the best way Tracker Clan can really win this, because if we are just doing a straight mirror match of default strats, Entropy should by all means come out on top.
Oh, for sure. The traditions are going to have to be thrown out the window for Tracker Clan if they are going to want to put up a good fight, because Entropy's a very good team. They're a very default team, traditional team. Like you said, if it's a mirror match, the default strats, the regular old pushes, it's going to be Entropy's game. That is Entropy's bread and butter. It's been their bread and butter for how many seasons now? 2, 3? I don't even remember. Tracker Clan,
That's
they've had
three, I
some
believe.
3? Yeah. It
They've
has
just been
been
unstoppable.
it has
They
been
have. they're on a tear, and they look to be continuing it.
It has been Entropy's playground throughout the entire season, throughout the entire last 3 seasons. So if Tracker, I will say this though, if Tracker is able to take a game off them, if they're able to maybe do it decisively too, that's going to do wonders for the mental, and it's really going to put them on the map. Entropy has been a former ESA Cup champion. So if Tracker is a team that is absolutely taken seriously, but they're not a team that really strikes fear in pretty much anyone. So if they're able to take an L, or they're able to take the win off of Entropy and send them to the loss realm, then we might have a new sheriff in town, and we might just have a new force to be reckoned with here in the SA Cup.
Yeah, Entropy, they've already fallen once in this group, taken down by MDF on that very first Playday of the group. It was a massive upset. And since then, they have got a regulation win, but they've also got an overtime win. So it's not exactly been the most cleaner journey through. So potentially, even if like Tracker Clan don't even win it, but they just take a point off, that's still good. That's still something you would probably be proud of, taking at least some amount of points away from the two-time champions. You can be at least a bit happy about that, but it might not be, enough. They are in that second last position. They are kind of behind the pack. But a lot of teams going into this Playday on 6 or 7 points. Tracker Clan were down with 3. So they are still sort of slugging behind a bit. Even if they win this, that's not going to put them in a great spot. But, it's got to start somewhere. You've got to just put a W on the board. And they could do it against Entropy here if Entropy are just on one of those slow days, one of those weak days. If you put them, especially in an unfamiliar sort of match, don't play default strats, make them actually have to make decisions on the fly, you could end up getting away with a win here.
Absolutely. And slow starts happen. We know this. We have seen it before. Slow starts are a big part of the game. So anything can happen. We're going to Clubhouse. It's a map that has seen its fair share of wacky strats and crazy 1 in a million odds. So I'm not putting them out of the water yet. Of course, Entropy has a massive upper hand, but it is for sure not a guarantee. All the players are in the lobby. So, Pooble, we are ready to go, and ESA Cup is ready to continue. And we go back to Clubhouse again. We just saw this scene a little bit ago, but we see it again, the beautiful cinematics. And it's going to be Entropy starting on the defense. And, of course, the band's first to come.
I just want to start this off by saying I really want to see a team properly attack Clubhouse, because we honestly didn't see any of that last match. So we might not have it initially because Entropy is starting on that defense, but I think from the sort of the bans we get here, we could maybe start to build a picture of whether or not we are going to be seeing the attack have a bit of life in them. Jackal being banned off the board once again, it just makes the defense a little bit more sort of robust in those roams. It makes it more difficult to sort of deal with them. And honestly, last match we saw a lot of attacking rounds. They didn't even try, really. They didn't want to invest that utility, and it ended up really favoring the defense. So the attacking team can't really be deterred by that Jackal ban here. But a Nut ban as well coming out is sort of very commonplace in ESA. She has just a lot of good sort of tools for the job. The SMG is a decent mid-range gun. The nades are always useful and can be incredibly powerful in sort of joint conjunction with drones. And her ability allows her to sort of make for a bit of sort of sneaky flank plays.
Soul is taken off. That is a ban that is mirrored from the last time, but like you said, I believe you said it in the last match too. You expected Noct to be taken off. Well, now you have got it. Solus was taken off. And who was taken off in the last match after Solus?
That was Kaya, I think. We're getting a Fenrir ban.
Fenrir ban. Okay, so we're not going to be seeing any purple screens today. Thankfully for the attackers and for the defenders, I'm sure they were wanting to play it, try to make a competitive debut, because Fenrir's still pretty new. He's not insanely new, but I'm sure there are a few of these players that have not gotten the chance to really try him out in competitive. I'm sure messing around in unranked quick play. But we're back in competitive matchups, and we have basement for our first map. And Pooble, I was pretty much expecting this. This was the map that the defense was not, or the offense was not able to get a single round in the last map. And it would not surprise me if that is the same way on this second matchup of the day, especially if Entropy can start off strong. We've talked about Entropy having slow starts in the past. They're able to just keep themselves under control and start off with a couple of wins. It's only going to get worse from there on out for this other team, for this poor attacking team of Tracker.
Yeah, and the especially a big thing to note here, the Mute and Mozzie picked, it very much suggests that they're going to be going heavily into the roam, especially with that Jackal being banned by Entropy as well. That being said, though, Hachi, he's still in the basement when you'd really expect the Mute to be out in the map placing down those jammers, so that utility might be used in the basement, but he is slowly making his way back into those top floors, so those Mute jammers, typically you'd see them assisting the roamist on that top floor, and yeah, we see them being put in CC now. That's really going to force Tracker Clan to actually clear out these roaming players. Yuki on the Mozzie, I'd imagine Vasius as well, just can be very aggressive. Both of them have those 1.5 scopes. But talking of aggression, though, Fergu, he's charging up rafters and he drops back down after taking a bit of gunfire. One shot is all Botcho needs to take him down, and that's an immediate opening pick for the defense.
ECSG landing the shot. I believe it was a leg shot, too, that downed them and sent them down into the hole. 5 versus 4 now, as we have a lot of roam presence on the side of Entropy, but it's the castle. It's the castle player that gets the first frag, surprisingly. And I mean, it was pretty much bound to be a roam central match. You have a Mute, a Warden, a Mozzie. That's going to be a lot of roam. And really, there's no one to deny the roam on the attacker side. You could say Lion can deny it. It makes him not be able to move for a few seconds, but I would definitely like to see a little bit more of actual roam denial, which it's hard to do it when Jackal's taken off, but there are some other operators that can do it. 90 seconds in, Entropy has the advantage, and really, Tracker hasn't even gotten close.
It just seemed like they sent Fergu off to clear it all on his own, and he takes a bit of damage, he gets scared, and immediately just focuses on trying to go down blue, was taken down, and since then the attack have made no real progress. Mylan getting very close to the main stairs would be met with a shotgun by Hachi, but Exgon elsewhere is taken down vertically, likely by a Nitro cell, I believe Botcho's. Yuki's trying to secure it with the Nitro, and indeed he does. 5 versus 3 now. The attack, no real avenues to actually get in, as Koala on the Echo of all operators gets very aggressive, takes down Aelin. Yuk at least gets a bit of a trade onto Yuki, but still, man advantage heavily favoring the defense here. Koala is low on HP, but apart from that, really, they're 4 very healthy members, still got utility as well. And Nitro in pocket for Vasi is Hachi. He just creeps on up, takes down Yunk. Diffuser now firmly in defensive control. And it's all up to Tiger on the opposite side of the map even, all the way by blue, could catch one off guard if he doesn't spot them running back, and Koala ends up actually getting that kill instead. A very dominant first round for Entropy there.
4 people left alive, and talk about one-sided. And it was, of course, we said this a lot in the first match of the day, doomed from the start. The Ash went down, it was a 5 versus 4, and you have to catch Entropy off guard. That is the play that you have to stop. That's the play style you have to have. You have to catch them off guard. You cannot let them get rolling early. You've got to come out and swing. You got to land a haymaker first. Because now Entropy has that first round. I bet it's only going to get more and more decisive from here on out. We're going to CCTV and Cash. And the denial is Bandit.
Yeah, you're going to likely be seeing a sort of, not even an extension down below. I'd imagine potentially even the shield of Hachi. There are 2 shields on the side of the defense here, so you'd want presence below to actually protect Botcho there. But even still, ignoring the sort of vertical nades there, but you have those players down to stop that. You've got that window as well in CC. It's going to make Botcho's life very difficult if he wants to go for the trick. So I'd imagine he might even just place down the batteries and go off and roam, because he might have a better chance doing that. Better sort of man usage there. I don't think he's going to trick. He's placing them in opposite corners, which certainly doesn't suggest he will do, because it is just such a risky position to play for the Bandit, even if it does yield good results upon success. But that being said, I haven't actually seen him move, so he could actually be attempting to stick the trick here. He's just certainly hovering around site anyway. Could have massive ramifications for the attack if they don't go through the proper steps to deal with it.
There's a lot of breachers, though. Both Ace and Thermite are there, and I think Bandit's just going to abandon it because there's no way they're going to keep that wall closed with an Ace and a Thermite. If you only had one, you might have had a shot at keeping it closed, but you have two. It's just not going to happen. Thermite's a nice, slow, big boom, and Ace is just way too quick. Oh, no! That is so unfortunate. Ayana thought they were clear, but they're not clear. Koala's right there. Headshot, MP5SD, raining down, gets the kill, gets the frag, whatever you want to call it. 5 versus 4, and Entropy starts this round off with the advantage. And now Koala has the location of another one. Make that 2! Knows that 2 are in construction, and I don't even think they know it.
Yeah, there's clearly no attention being paid to those Echo drones, so that's free sort of intel for the defense here. They still have that sort of key position of red stairs as well, but they are going to get construction wall open. Hachi, though, he just doubles down on that advantage, takes down Fergu, but he is in a difficult spot here. It's not all bad for him, though, because the attack have just shown no real aggression onto Garage as Exgon is taking down a construction butcher with a long angle, might even try and catch Mylan off guard as well, and he does. Now it's a 1 versus 5, even worse than the previous round, as Yunk is just left alone on that Nomad, just trying to get any pick he can through the window. Butcho is going to get a bit more aggressive, secure his kill, why don't you? Get that number up on the leaderboard, but Hachi takes down Yunk, and it's another incredibly dominant round from Entropy. Tracker Clan just don't seem to know how to deal with these roamers at all.
Nice round from Entropy. I gotta say, the end-all, be-all of that round, the main factor in that round is that one Yokai drone. Because it caught out not 1, not 2, caught out 3 players.
Yep.
And that is just so much intel. When half your team is getting spotted out by a single camera drone, by a single gadget, you're just bound for failure. It was unfortunate. You have to be better in the future. You can't let it stick with you too long. Entropy's team, they're so good that sometimes they get in your head, but you can't let it happen. You gotta stay focused. You gotta let it go. You made a mistake. Don't let it happen in the future. Entropy's going to gym and bedroom. This might be your time. Like you said, this is the main secondary site here in this newest meta, or in this latest meta, I should say. But we've seen defenses have some struggles on it. They haven't lost too many rounds on it, but they have had some struggles. It hasn't been as clean as, say, Basement or CCTV Cache. So this might be the time. This might be the round that Tracker needs to put themselves on the board.
Yeah, absolutely, really. This has been the weaker one previous match, albeit it was due to certain factors such as team kill. But still, Tracker Clan, they're going to need to sort of show any kind of real expertise in clearing out these defenders in just outside of the sort of extended positions. This is going to be their first point of contention, the Rafters player. They don't have a shield to sort of send up there and draw any attention. It's going to be based purely off utility usage and gunfire here. They've got flashes, they've got nades as well. They can easily take down this player, but instead a gunfight is chosen, and they're of course not going to win that. Hachi has all the angles he needs to win that. Yunk taken down, Nomad off the board. That's 3 flashes and 3 air jabs. Count them, 6 pieces of utility that won't be used in this round because they chose a gunfight rather than any kind of strategic option. Entropy just wiping the floor with Tracker in this early round.
This has been the problem the entire day. Attackers taking gunfights that they really shouldn't. And it might happen again. Hachi on top of the rafters, and the wall is wide open, and there it is again. And Diffuser! You gotta turn it out! That's gonna be a triple for Hachi. Maybe a quad, and that is another flawless round for Entropy as Yuki with the MP5, the run out, and that's 3-0. It's getting worse and worse, and Poobel Entropy is having the time of their life.
There's just no sort of effective utility usage whatsoever from the attack. They're just throwing bodies at the problem. You have nades, you have flashbangs, you have EMPs, you can do whatever you want.
You have
just
drones.
try and... Yeah, try and set up some kind of take there. Don't just feed your bodies into the machine that was Hachi on rafters there, because he was just taking names. 4 kills for him there on the Wamai of all operators. It's Wamai as well. The utility builds up over time. You can catch you off guard with all of the nades and flashbangs you have, but you don't do anything. Tracker Clan, you need to seriously reevaluate your overall playstyle in this match as we go back down to the basement, because this is where utility usage will be key. You need to keep your vertical player alive, and it looks like Tracker Clan aren't even bringing a vertical operator so far. It might be a case of repicking it, but there's no Buck, no Sledge. There's only 2 sets of nades as well. This could just be the same story all over again. They're trying to go for gunfights, and Fergu, fair play, credit to him, at least picks that Buck there. Thatcher being swapped off from the ace, so wait, there's no hard breach.
There's no.
I guess
Buck
has the secondary, but that's really risky. You have to be on top of the hatch, and with the amount of nitros that were brought in the previous round, that's a very strange adaptation there. But fair play to them. At least they're covering it.
I guess they are covering a hard breach. Technically, that's Fergu, but Fergu has to use it to get into the.
They can't get both hatches, can they?
No, they had to either make a choice between both hatches or cave. They chose cave. I would have liked an ace. I would have liked an ace or Habana over IQ. Like, yeah, IQ is useful, but we're on basement.
The Echo drone, right? But
it is for the Echo drone.
You can just drone.
Just look.
Drone yourself.
Look up, drone, shoot it out. It'll be fine. And sure, IQ is a very good operator, but guys, you have to have a little more awareness if you want to be productive here on attack. And their hard breach is gone. If they have a hard breach wall, they are completely done. And right there, we have the first kill going the way of Tracker, which is a very good sign. The breach denial is done, but guess what? The claws are already put down. So sure, it's a one-man advantage, but I would have absolutely liked to see maybe a Frost taken off or a Goyo. Or not a Frost, sorry. Oh, an Echo.
Yeah, but I don't even think Entropy realized this, but they're still in a good spot. Moto Hatch can't be open. They have a lot of freedom here. Granted, now 2 picks going this side of Tracker Clan. This could be their first round here if Hachi can't really stop this onslaught from Tunnel. Koala as well, taken down very low. It's looking like things are going the way of Tracker Clan here, but they've still got to actually convert this to an execute. The diffuser's going down by Hexagon, but Vasi, he's got 1. It's now 3 versus 4. Hexagon, he's too afraid. He goes off the plant. Granted, Mylan gets 1 into Hachi, but Hexagon, that's your diffuser player taken down as well. Vasi getting so aggressive, and the Goyo canister takes down Yuki. 1v2 for Koala on a 5 HP, maybe even less, but still, diffuser's cold on the ground. No one's got it yet. They're going to have to abandon vertical positions. Koala whiffs a few shots. He's repositioned, though, as both players now drop down. They're going to try and take the 2 versus 1 here, but Koala, he could get away unnoticed. If he can line them up, this is a free round win for him, and it absolutely is! Entropy get their 4th!
You've got to be kidding. It was going so well. They played that round perfectly until the last 30 seconds. At one point, it was a 5 versus 3. By all means, that was Tracker Clan's round. And then something switched. I think they might have gotten a little bit tunnel visioned on the grand prize, and they forgot that they didn't have it all secured right then just yet. They had a great attempt. They had a perfect opportunity to give that round to themselves, and then they just forgot their main fundamentals. They had to clear out the site, and they let a couple of kills drop down by that last castle player, and it forfeits up another round, make that 4-0, as we're going to go back to CCTV Cash and Pooble. That was the best chance they had, and they fumbled it. What can they do now?
Well, the big issue with that previous round, it was such a one-dimensional take because they didn't bring a conventional hard breach. This time, that's not the case. They've got the ace, they've got the thermite. They have got a dynamic lineup. They can take a variety of options here, but they still have to deal with the intel game from Entropy, which is actually only being brought with a bulletproof camera, so this could actually favor Tracker Clan here. There's not that pesky Echo anymore, constantly feeding out information. But still, they've got to get that wall open, which should be a fairly easy job. It's only bot show, but then, crucially, they have to make the right decision on where they go from next. If they just open up platform and maybe apply a bit of pressure into Garage, that's just not going to cut it. They need split aggression, I'd say, to just try and sort of pinch these entry players, because they didn't do that last time, and they were completely slaughtered for it. So Tracker Clan, they just need to go for a sort of two-pronged attack here, I'd say.
Extended hold here, right downstairs. That's going to deny a lot of vertical play for this attacking side. Bandit trick, you choose the right side. Oh, double. That's going to be the open wall. And the saying rings true. There's simply no way to keep that wall all reinforced. You're not going to keep it open no matter what. Now, it's going to be all up to the aggression of Entropy. And when you think aggression, you think Entropy. Like you said, it's going to come down to the gunfights. It's going to come down to seeing how aggressive Entropy can hold this wall off, because now that it's open, they have essentially a sightline. They don't necessarily have an entrance to the site yet, but they do have a sightline into it, and sometimes sightlines are even more dangerous than entrances. Hachi just going to run out. Not the smartest play there, forfeiting up a life to Tracker Clan. 90 seconds to go. They still got to get inside, but they are getting closer with every second.
Yeah, Hachi just gets a little bit too eager there, goes for the same play he made in that previous round, and it doesn't work out. A bit of a botched kunai from Koala there, and Fergu gets his second on the round, so Tracker Clan once again in the driver's seat, but we saw this before. We saw this last round, and it all went horribly wrong. They've got to just sort of clear all of their potential risk points, and Hexagon is going for that diffuser again. Botcher this time being held at bay by those flashbangs. Koala's position is known, so the case should be going down. Koala tries his best and actually does get Fergu on that outside position, but he's now boxed on the catwalk here, and there's nothing he can really do from this position. There's two players holding his exit points. He can maybe try a vault through the window, but his own barrier stops that, and Hexagon watches the only sight hole available. And, well, it's not going to be a 7-0, but still, Tracker Clan not looking the best here, but it's still a round on the board, and, you know, all comebacks start with a single round, I guess, if you want to spin a sort of positive light on it.
Yeah, a really good round from Tracker Clan. Entropy was pretty much sought out from the beginning. And Pooble, something different about that round. The attackers use utility in a very effective way.
Yep.
Very good looks. That brings a lot of hope to me personally, as it shows that they know how to use the utility. If they can do that another round, we might be going into halftime 4-2. As I believe we're going back to CCTV Cash one more time. Didn't work out too well for him last time, so let's try it one more time. Change the operators up a little bit. Of course, we have the Azami still there, Castle, a Bandit still there, and Hachi on the Frost. He's going to try to catch someone off with the bear traps. And, oh, hold on, look at this. Look at this, a gridlock picked on the attacker repick. Is it going to stay like that, though?
I mean, I imagine that's for the MPs. They don't want to bring Thatcher. They're maybe afraid of a roam, or perhaps they just want the sort of versatility that Gridlock provides that secondary shotgun. It's a bit of an odd switch. You'd think that Thatcher would just cover the EMPs more, but I guess they maybe want to just clear out one of these positions, maybe isolate Koala on the catwalk, or isolate the Cash player, just cut the site in half with those track stingers. But that does mean you have to be more precise with those EMPs, which could, in theory, end up stalling the attack a bit if they mess that up, but it's still yet to be seen. XCON, he's likely going to just not find himself in any engagements until that wall's getting open, as Mylan is all the way on the other side just waiting for that construction wall to be open. Yuki, he is bandit tricking once again, but with the impact DMPs being used, they have to be a lot more precise.
Yeah, and already one of them taken off. So you got to make this last one count. I don't know if they're going to be able to get into it. They only have one EMP, but the frag comes in. AC Milan headshot, 5-5-6, another one. Hachi goes down. Frost and Jaeger taken off the board, and Bassi once again. There's another one. Fergu, AK-12, headshot central. And this round might just be an easy win for Tracker Clan. It's a 5 versus 2. We've seen 5 versus 2 clutches before, but this is a very different Tracker Clan. 1v5. Koala, what can you do? The kunais, I don't know if they're going to save you here. You got a couple barriers up. Catches one off guard, maybe even a second. Diffuser's going to go down. They're going to need a lot more. Triple
No
kill.
way.
919 raining down. Headshots found. And it's a 1 versus 2 still. Not out of the woods just yet. You're still going up against double your own manpower, but it's looking a lot more likely this time. Fergu's going to come in to support. The Fuser going to go down, going to try to come it off on the flank. They don't expect it. They don't know. They don't see through the hole. Some damage done. Koala's still alive, but the Diffuser's going to go down. 9 bullets left. The player gets down. Ayana, day 50 in hand, and a 1v5 denial. Fergu saves it by a sliver.
Yeah, Tracker Clan, they do end up pulling back that 4-2 split, which isn't the end of the world for the attack, but that final round there, commiserations to Koala, just a little bit too slow on that flank. It gave the jig away. They flick over to that position, scare him off, get the plant down, and from that point, it really isn't winnable. Compound that with the overall just lack of ammo because of the amount of people he'd shot. You know, it was eventually a round won in favor of Tracker Clan. But Entropy, I'm sure they aren't too sort of bothered about that. It was a close round to end it off, and they're going on to an entirely separate half now. So we can kind of maybe get away with sort of forgetting the sort of previous comeback, I guess, of Tracker Clan. What they learned in those final 2 rounds, sure, it helped them on those attacks, but they're now on the defense. They've got an entire different problem to sort of work around now, and if they show similar levels of just that overall sluggish ability to adapt, this could still be a very sort of easy win for Entropy here if Tracker Clan can't learn from any mistakes that are sort of exposed from these first few rounds. From the side of Entropy, we are seeing this IQ in play once again, but crucially this time we're also seeing that ace being brought as well, along with what I'd assume to be the hard breaches on the Bucks. So it's going to be a lot more of a sort of dynamic push, likely from 2 specific points rather than just tunnel and kitchen. That should hopefully give the attack a much greater chance of winning this, but it's still basement. It's still a very defender-sided point. And from the looks of it, there's going to be a heavy roam presence. Yunk and Xgon, both with those MPXs, I'd imagine are going to be out in the map just roaming about, being an absolute menace.
For sure. There's going to be, I would say, at least 2 roamers. Smoke, that's definitely an operator you want to keep on site. And the roam denial, though, from Entropy is a little bit pleasing. I do like the Dokkaebi pick. Those logic bombs are going to make the roamers have a little bit harder of a time. Maybe try to just have a little bit of worry. That one, this early on, I would have I would have rather liked to see that used a little bit later on in the round, but maybe just trying to get a little bit of an idea of where there are to start us off. But when you have one player that's still all the way left in spawn droning out, I would have liked to wait at least 30 seconds, but there might be a reason I'm in the desk and they're on the field. Who knows?
Yeah, Entropy, they haven't really called Tracker Clan's bluff here. It's actually a 5-man defense in the basement, but there's still quite a lot of utility invested in that roam clear, wasting just under half of the round, and still they've got to deal with the execute itself. Hexagon is getting very aggressive onto that window angle, could potentially catch a hard breach off guard, but that is typically where we would see a Hibana, and Hibana simply isn't being played here. So I think Entropy is safe from that for now, as Vasi is creeping down the stairs, but crucially being led in by that Yana as well. As I say that, never mind, Vasi peels away, instead focusing on using that gadget instead as just a bit of intel is gained by Koala, just in the lead up to this final execute here, as we are just about to reach that final minute. Oh, and Botcho taken down, but it's a trade with Koala's nade, 4 versus 4, now into that final 60 seconds.
Botcho is down, your main hard breach is done. Buck still has the charge, though. So if the hatch needs to be opened up or a wall needs a little crouch hole, then they are still good to go. But Smoke still has the smoke grenades. I believe he still has 1 left after this. I'm not 100% sure. No, 2 left, 2 left. So that can be a lot of time denial. That might just make those stairs impossible to run through. But not if Smoke is taken off the board. Fergu's down. Sight has been breached, and Yuki drops down motorcycle hatch, and now Sight has been breached. We have a player inside. The diffuser is going to be planted down. There's going to be no way to stop this unless a miracle happens, but I don't think it's going to. Nitro doesn't land, and now it's a 1v4 with the diffuser down. Yunk, last one alive, gets 1, downs a second, but 3rd time's the charm, and we are nearly on match point for Entropy.
And so, did you see what the attacking team did there? They actually went from multiple points. And surprisingly, when you're coming from a variety of angles and covering actual decent amount of ground, it's all too easy for Entropy to win that. It gets down to that sort of post-plant position. There's Entropy attackers in all places. They always just manage to find a way to get those trades no matter what. The defenders just picked apart there, really. And it's all down to that utility usage. Just the freedom that bringing a dedicated hard breach operator like the Ace brought to that attacking lineup allow them to go from so many more angles. Moto specifically kind of is the nail in the coffin for the defense there. Yuki dropping down that hatch, just taking down the smoke, and from there on out, the round is effectively won. You have church control, you have blue cover, you have cover from kitchen as well. It's all too easy for Entropy as they're on 5-2 now. A repeat of this basement, if they repeat that success, 6-2, looking very dire for Tracker Clan.
I see a similar setup. I don't believe we had on my last round, so we're going to get it this time around the block. Going back to basement, switches off from Twitch back to IQ. The Dokkaebi IQ combo worked well last time. Two operators that we don't see too much. See them every once in a while, but not as much as you might expect. Of course, we have the, like, I would say 1.5 hard breach with the Ace and the 2 hard breach charges from Buck. Would not surprise me if we see a carbon copy of the last round where Entropy had it won from the start. Trade-off, it was quote-unquote close from the player count side of things, but from the position count and the utility count and how they were able to use it, it was pretty much Entropy's round from the start until the end. And if we can see that again, that will be match point, and that might just be a pretty much a GG from there on out. Because 6-2 comeback, sure, it's possible. We've seen it a couple times before, but not against Entropy.
Yeah, Entropy still sort of bogged down in this roam clear, but once again, I don't believe there actually might be a player all the way in logistics, so good sort of switch it from Tracker Clan there, just putting a defender up there. I'd ideally like to see XGON there as well. Valk, once you put those cameras down, can just be a very aggressive operator. The MPX can be lethal with a good aim, but he was all the way back in sight last we checked, but still, just this player, Yunk, I believe, in Logi, spotted out Vasi with that default camera, but still, just playing very patient, but the drone's on him now, the jig's up. They know he's there, and they can just hold him there. They can just trap him with that door. He's Jaeger. There's no impact nades there, no nitro, no shotgun, hopefully. Yep, he's got that 416, so he has to fight his way out of here. 2 players now, more than happy to just leave him there, but they can't leave him there for too long. If he wastes more time, his sacrifice is worthy, but the 2 players now coming up for that 3v1 even perhaps as Tigesh all the way on the other side of the map takes down Vasi on the main stairs. And Young Hair can die. He's done his job. He's wasted time. They've gotten Vasi down as a result, and he actually gets another. Hachi is left to pick up the pieces, but it's 3 versus 4 with a minute left. And there's another Roma coming up to this top floor.
Yeah, the time is not on their side. Entropy will win that fight, specifically Hachi, and the cameras will be hacked. Now, the hatch is starting to get opened up, and maybe it might not be as dire as expected. Of course, there's only 35 seconds to go, but it's all evened up. And we've seen when it comes down to those time crunch, big skirmishes, that our Entropy has had a lot of success in the past. And Hachi debating on using another logic bomb, that will put a big help on the attack as Tigesh is spotted out. Oh, it's a trade-off. And Yuki sees Mira holding in the corner. 10 seconds to go. They've got to get it down quick. They've got to plant it now. There's no time. They've got to get this last kill. XGON just has to stay alive for a few more seconds. Now, they keep it alive. They keep it down.
What?
And Entropy's going to win this round. Match point for Entropy. They get the diffuser down. Or no, they don't get the diffuser down, but they keep it planted for long enough to keep the timer going a little bit longer. And the Mach 14 puts Entropy on match point.
Very lucky for Entropy there. Just a complete misread by Hexagon, but the diffuser was going down. There was no immediate cover in church. If Hexagon just made the read that they were planting on that side of church, the two default spots behind the black boxes and behind the bar. Just throw a nitro there, perhaps even. He would have won that round for the team. There was a bit of sloppy cover for the plant there, but still a bad read from Hexagon results in Entropy's 6th round here. And just like that attacking half, they just seem unstoppable, really. Tracker Clan aren't learning from their mistakes. They get a little bit too aggressive in that roam clear, really. It started off so well, but they just began throwing bodies at the problem when they just don't need to. So we're going to CC and Cash here. You're seeing not even a bandit being brought, so they're just thoroughly expecting that wall to be open. Quite wisely, in fact, using that utility elsewhere. Bringing other operators like Smoke into this lineup who, while he isn't as strong as he previously was, losing that shield, he still can be phenomenal at just stalling out attackers. He has good guns as well, so we can see if this change-up from the Entropy defense is actually going to work for Tracker Clan here. But still, their overall team play just hasn't been up to par in either of these halves, really.
And Monty Osa play a lot of shields on the attacking side. And Thatcher's there. Ace is there. They know that there's not any breach denial. So they're just going to have their way with this wall. Yuki's going to drone it out, make sure there's no one close, make sure that everything is safe. You do have the Tigers player playing in storage. The Tigers player, I meant the Warden player, roaming downstairs, trying to deny if anyone tries to jump through that window, but nobody's going to try to. That wall is wide open, so let's make use of it. Monty walking his way up, clunk, 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 going on up there. One player, DBNO, Tigers is down. Trade off, Hachi gets one, it's a 4 versus 3, and Monty is still just chug-a-lugging up through rafters. The frag grenade, Monty gets into a fight, nearly dies. And XCon catches the foot off. You've got to know how wide your shield is. How are you going to play Monty if you don't know how wide the shield is? Look at him go! Triple kill for XCon, 1 versus 3. Bacho, the AK-12, needs to claim 3 victims. But I don't know how it's gonna do it. They're trying to wob and weave around the little line. The impact does some damage. That'll be a double for Bacho trying to pre-fire, but there's nothing there to pre-fire. They can't land the shot.
He's still got the case, though. He can certainly make an attempt here. Both players on one side of the site as well. Bacho wisely going to the garage. He could even stick a default plant if he can just get in, but angles will be being watched, and as one of the defenders takes a more aggressive position in CC, I don't even know if Bacho will expect it. Default camera was shot down, so they don't actually know he's there yet, but the audio will now give him away. He's still in a very dire spot here. He can't actually get through this hole, I don't believe, or certainly not at the moment. He could try and just shoot out the panels, not even going to attempt it. Can't see the defender there either. It's really rough for Bacho here. He can actually just fall over, but couldn't see Mylan, and that's finally a win on the board for Tracker Clan, but still, it gets very close at the end. They start throwing bodies when they're in that man advantage. That's what lost them the previous round, and it could very well have lost them that round. Same mistake still being repeated. They need to be ironed out for Tracker Clan to continue this comeback.
Round number 10, we will see a double-digit match again. I was personally not expecting it. I expected Entropy to make it a little bit quicker. Not congratulate, but kudos to Tracker Clan for keeping it going this long. We expected Entropy to make pretty quick work of it. But here we have Tracker Clan bringing it all the way to round number 10, maybe round 11. They are going back to basement, and basement has not been the best side for them as they're 0-2 on it. Maybe they can make it 1-2, try to get a win. Hold off Entropy a little bit longer. They almost had it last time, but just the diffuse timer extension was able to be enough time for Hachi to get that last kill and win the round, put him on match point. And it's just one more round, and Entropy will walk away with a dub. And we see another probable roam composition. 2 MPXs on the Warden and the Valk, but last time this happened, they were all playing on site. They had a 5 on-site defense, which I don't think anybody really expected.
Yeah, it looks like Yunk at least will be off roaming, but that's only one player, and Entropy have been quite clinical with these roam clears and utilizing their man advantages. So if he's caught out off on his own, he will potentially just be killed incredibly early. We're seeing Fergu in Oil Pit, potentially just trying to catch one of the attackers off guard, potentially on the rafters stairs. But this is all a lot of very deep, specific angles being covered. Yunk, he's moving up those red stairs now, has a pre-placed Nitro to catch off guard the attack, but elsewhere, there is an advance coming through Garage. Yellow Ping makes it known, but Yunk is going to have to start choosing his fights now. A lot of angles being watched as he quite wisely chooses to just retreat down the blue stairs. There's so much pressure coming at him. It's really best for him to just keep his life up because he's not wasted enough time to die at the moment. Getting back to site, keeping just another body on site is really the best Tracker Clan can make from this situation.
2 minutes to go. No time crunch yet. They're just going to keep on pushing through. They just got to clear the roams out. This time they're playing with the roam. Yunk, like expected, not on site, forced out of the first position. Now, Entropy's getting a little bit closer, sees Yunk and takes them down. The Warden is no longer. I don't know if they have any way to deny or any way to stop that Cade from shocking. I don't think they have any EMP grenades. Oh, yes, they do. They have Dokumi's EMP gadget, but I don't know if that'll be enough. You have to be really precise with it. Some damage taken by a Nitro cell through a wall brings Hachi down to, I would say, about 15 HP. And Hachi is going to actually get that claw taken down. And the wall, or the hatch, should be opened up. Oh, wait. It got restarted. They're going to try it one more time.
He's replacing it. There's no time.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's going to get taken down. The anti-breach works again. Still a two-man advantage for Entropy, so they just got to get these last few kills, but they have to make their way down into the basement site. Time's running a little thin. No need to worry just yet, but there's less than 40 seconds to go, and now Ayana's taken away.
Yeah, Entropy are panicking here, and that's really the worst thing they can do. They had an opportunity to go down to site as there was a roamer up there. It's Fergu, actually, who's now been taken down 4 versus 2. And I think Entropy just need to send it here. Have no fear. You have the better gun skill. That being, yep, Vasi just pushes in. Actually doesn't notice Tigersh behind the mirror window. Butcher's now putting that diffuser down as Yuki just cleans up. And that's a 7-3 win for Entropy. Perhaps not as fast as we were expecting, but still dominant nonetheless.
That'll do it. Congratulations, Entropy and Tracker Clan. Amazing attempt. They got close. They were able to outplay Entropy a little more than expected, so I would definitely not be too upset with this loss. They learned a lot. They learned how to adjust. That's the big thing. They started off 0-4, and then they were adjusting to the playstyle. They learned where to attack. They learned how to attack, and Tracker Clan was able to get the last 2 rounds for a 4-2 split. Impressive work from Tracker, but Entropy just continues to be the beast that they are.
Yeah, Tracker Clan just a little bit too slow to the punch when it came to adapting. Entropy had already sort of cleaned them up, gotten those 4 rounds in a row. And then once it went to the defense, it was very much the same story. A bit of fight back from Tracker Clan right near the end, but Entropy still firmly in the driver's seat. And it very much seems like those sort of group stage woes are behind them. They've got 3 wins in a row now, looking to be back up to that sort of double champion strength we'd expect from them. And Entropy could very well go on to get probably not the number 1 seed in the group. That's likely going to MDF, but number 2 certainly on the cards for Entropy.
For sure. And Tracker, I'm not 100% sure, but I want to say with that loss, they will probably be eliminated from the group stage. I don't think they're going to be making the playoffs this season around, but hey, most likely better luck next season. And if you find a way to have a miracle run and get into the playoffs, hey, kudos to you, but it's going to be very hard. And I'm not 100% sure if it's still even possible. That'll be known once the calculations are all done. But man, Entropy, congratulations on a very good win. And Entropy is going to be a team to watch during the playoffs. It's pretty much a lock for them making the playoffs at this point. They've been so good throughout the past 2 seasons, the 2-time champions of ESA Cup. Would not surprise me if they're able to get a 3rd this season, as this team is a monster to play against. And even when Tracker Clan thought they had their number for those last 2 rounds, guess what? Entropy switched the game. They got on the side switch, and they came out and completely rolled through.
Yeah, it really is just sort of that almost like veteran spirit of the Entropy team. They've been together so long. They have complete trust in each other, just complete cohesiveness. They always play as a unit. And the sort of the most scary thing is all of them have that ability to pop off mechanically as well. You can't really isolate one or two weak links in entropy when you're against them because other people will just step up. They are just quite frankly terrifying team to play against and when they're at their peak. So your only real hope is to catch them on their off day, really. And unfortunately for Tracker Clan, this was definitely not Entropy's off day.
Now, that would have been Tracker Clan's biggest chance, but this was a day that they were firing on all cylinders, and they get away with the dub. Pretty one-sided, 7-3, but of course, a very good attempt from Tracker Clan. Congratulations for taking it that far, but it was Entropy's day today. And speaking of which, that'll end us off for today. No third match today, which is a little unfortunate. We, of course, wanted to see some more Rainbow Six action, but this is not the end of ESA Cup. We have some more play days coming along later on in the week, later on in the month. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Follow the Twitter, join the Discord, all of that, so you can stay up to date with all the ESA Cup action going on. Pooble, thank you for joining me. It's been an amazing time. Anything else you would like to say? Anyone shout out, anything like that?
Well, I'll be back on Sunday, I believe. So I'll hopefully be back on Sunday. So I guess I'll see everyone then.
All right. If you want to see some more Pooble casting action, make sure to join back in. Same place, same time on Sunday. I will unfortunately not be here on Sunday, but that's just how it goes. Thank you all for tuning in. I've been Star Coin Hero, joined by Pooble. This has been the ESA Cup, and make sure you stay tuned for future streams. We'll be back Sunday.